Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Keto Mom page. My name is Stephanie, and we are diving into chasing daylight. Really, I want to talk to you about the power of influence and what that or who or what hey, my dog plays a power on, or what plays an impact. Hold on a second, please hold. These squeaky toys make lots of noise. All right, influence. What does that mean? And what plays a part in the decisions that you make? I truly believe that a majority of the decisions that we make, the things that we do, it all has to do with awareness, right? Like allowing yourself to take a step back from anything that you're doing. So remember, this book isn't about fat loss, but it's about being mindful. It's about understanding that your life and your fat loss and your weight loss journey is not just the one thing in your life that you should be focused on. You've got some people, there's lots of books out there. There's lots of books that describe your life, or they would say, listen, you've got a whole bunch of different areas in your life, right? They found another squeaker toy. And if one of the spokes, they would say, like, think of your life as like a wheel, right? Spiritually, physically, emotionally, financially, relationships. I think I've covered them, a majority of them. So a majority of hold on, I gotta grab this squeaker toy because I can't listen to that while I'm talking to you. So if one of the spokes is, let's say, broken or not running well, it is going to affect all of the other spokes. Get down. If your relationships aren't going well, do you think your health is going to go well? Like, do you think you're going to make good decisions if you're struggling in your marriage or with your children? All of it. Finances, all of those things, right? So the point of this book is just to help you have an awareness. I think generally in life, if you can go, all right, how am I going to handle this situation? I don't have to be so reactive. Most of the time, people don't have an understanding of EQ, their emotions. And out of most situations, they react versus respond. They don't take the time to research. They don't take the time to collect the facts. They just react. And out of reacting can cause, let's just be real, weight gain. Because how often do we turn to food as a reward or as an emotional support, right? It emotionally supports me because my marriage is bad, or my kids don't listen, or I had a bad day at work. I deserve this, right? So in all things, if you can just tell yourself, I need to control my emotions. I need to have an awareness of what's going on in the situation. Here are my spokes, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, relationships, and I'm really struggling in one of these areas. And let's just be real. If you look at where you are today, what caused you to get here today? Most of you, I always say you want some fat loss. Okay, I want to feel better. I want to look a certain way. Well, if you can't figure out what got you here today, how in the world are you going to switch that habit? Why are you at where you are today? Is it because food is a crutch? Is it because food is a reward? Is it because it helps with your emotions because home life or work life isn't going the way that you want? You've got to figure out what it is that caused you to get to where you are today. I've got 4 dogs, by the way, if you didn't know that. And they're always like that when my husband's walking in the door. So whatever it is, let's figure that out, right? And then you have to have the awareness of when that trigger comes up or that thing happens, guess what? You can go, oh, I'm here. Every other day I would have eaten the chocolate or gone through the drive-thru. I would have made the excuse and said, I'll start tomorrow. But now that I have an awareness, I've realized this thing happened, it triggered me, and now I'm not going to do it. I'm going to find something else to put in that place. So I say all of that because we're starting in chapter 4 of this book, if you're following along, or if you're reading the book, and it talks about influence. Again, he's story-based, so he tells a ton of different stories, but I just want to read one section to you. He says this, he says, human beings are created with with the capacity to influence and be influenced. So we can influence and we can be influenced, right? This is inherent in that we are created to be relational beings. It is heightened by the reality that we are not simply intellectual, I think I could read this morning, intellectual, but emotional creatures. Influence can be a great thing, especially when we distinguish it from manipulation. All right, so I just want to talk on the power of influence. Do you need my help? My husband is digging a hole today. Digging a hole in our really hard ground. We've got a few hours before it rains and snows. He's got one more project, so that's what he's doing. All right, influence is the best way to lead and move others towards what is good or what are their goals. So I would really challenge you to look at your life and look at the influences that you have in your life. Let's give an example. Your work environment, right? If you were the only one that is focused on being healthy, I feel like I'm really close to you. If you're the only one that's focused on being really healthy, the influences in your life at your workspace, like, are they helping or hurting? Are they encouraging or are they degrading? Are they causing you to want to be better or not? And you might not be able to change that. But I was listening to Joseph McClendon, who I talked about this weekend. We did an event and he talked about lots of different things. And one of them was, are you constantly looking for other people to motivate you? Or can you just go, I've got to find it within. If I go to my workspace and I'm constantly being told, oh, it's not a big deal. We do potlucks all the time. Oh, stop it. You don't have to be on a diet. Oh, stop it. You're at work, start tomorrow. Like, if you are constantly being pulled down or you're like, in my home, I don't have anybody that's doing it with me, you've got to figure out how that you can influence yourself and you can support yourself. Like, part of this is, I know, a lot of us want accountability and support from other people. We want that best friend, or we want that perfect message, or we want somebody to slap us on the hand every time we're going to grab that thing that we probably shouldn't eat. It would be so great to have that person right next to you at all times. I get it. And part of your journey is learning to love yourself, learning to trust yourself, learning to go, oh, nobody else at this moment is doing this with me. I've got to have an understanding of why I'm doing this. And the influence is around me might not be great. So I've got to want this enough to make a change. You can have some great influences around you, and you can have some not great influences around you. And if you can't find the grit and the heart and the why inside of you, then guess what? You cannot depend on other people all around you at all times. And so you're going to have to go, I can do this. Even if you're working on believing that you can, you're going to have to find that inward voice, tell it to stop the negative talk, and you're going to have to go, I can do this. I want this. And right now, in the other environments that I have, maybe I don't have the support, maybe I don't have the encouragement or the accountability, but I can do it. I can do it. And that's why you can come on pages like this one. Clearly, people that are on here are wanting better, or maybe other groups or pages that you listen to, right? But also know that we talked about that this weekend. You've got to be able to go, I can influence myself. I can do this. I've got a big enough why. I tune into a book or a podcast. I can work on my mindset. That's why you're here. I'm working on my mindset. So that I'm not going to be influenced. I'm going to be the one that I'm the influencer. I'm the one that walks into my workspace with a definitive purpose, with a clear vision and a goal, and I'm not persuaded by other people. I'm going to do this. I'm the one in my home. I'm not barking at my kids or my husband or my spouse and saying, why don't you do this with me? But I'm leading to inspire. I'm going to be the one that's the leader. Some of you might go, but I'm not a leader. Yeah, you are. You are. Just depends on what you're leading. I don't know if this makes sense, but some of you need to understand that you've been waiting for way too long for somebody else to do it with you, for somebody else to come alongside of you, for my spouse to hopefully do it with me, or my boss or my employees or my best friend. Well, guess what? If you want it, then you're going to have to be the leader in a positive manner. It talks about not manipulating people. Don't manipulate your spouse or your kids or make anybody feel bad because they're not doing it with you. You lead by example. You encourage them. You smile. You don't gripe about not eating a certain food if somebody else is in front of you. You enjoy the food that you have because you have goals. So, watch the words that come out of your mouth. Watch the thoughts that you tell yourself. And are you being influenced, or are you going to be the influencer? Yes. So, that's what he talks about. He talks about influencing people. He talks about how easy it is to be manipulated. So, that was this. I'm probably going to end on page 110 if you're following along. Basically, it was a lot of storytelling, but that was the basic idea of it. So, all right, going through this book. As always, you can always message me with your questions. I am here to help. And continue to tune into the page, because there's different other lives that I will tell you and share with you, and recipes and tips and tricks to help you on your journey. So I hope you have an incredible day. Reach out with your questions, and know this: you don't have to have somebody else alongside of you to do this. If you want it, tell yourself, I'm going to get it. I'm going to be the positive influence. I'm going to encourage others. I'm going to go after my goals. I have a definite purpose, and I'm going to go get it. With the reality that it could take some time, so I'm going to have to be strong. You can do this. So, okay, have a great morning. We'll talk to you soon.